Now let's actually take this apart, and it's done by pulling this top off. We've got the Duallet. It is the Raptor wallet that we have here. It's a slim pop-up box. You notice we have a slit design box right here. So let's open that up. Ooh, nice orange. And this is the Fire Talon. This is that color, it's orange. It also comes in a steel hawk, which is black, as well as a silver fang. And those colors, they all appear right here in this wing design. So let's pull this out here. It is metal, as we can kind of see. And it is interesting in how this one works. There are other similar wallets. Actually, we're going to look at the groove later, so hang on. So once we get a closer look at this, then we'll understand more. After a couple years of development, Duallet is ready to launch their new Raptor wallet, this thing we just unwrapped. Tony from their product team sent me product ahead of their launch to look at, including some development iterations that got them to this final piece. So let's go. We look at the features on this. We have one exterior cash slot. It's right here. You can kind of see these grooves down here, and this allows a card or cash, you can see that daylight right there, to rest here. Really suitable for one card or folded cash, which we'll look at. Really perfect for a transit card or ID. Otherwise, being all metal, this really is an RFID potential wallet. Then we have this extraction trigger right here. Whereas many push up, this pulls down, and we'll see how this functions as we get there. And we have potential MagSafe right here. This is being built in, so this will be able to attach to your phone if you're an iPhone user. And it's been discussed in the functionality. We'll look at this because we're going to take it apart. And then, of course, we have the interior card slot. This is the main feature of this particular wallet right here. And so we'll get a better look at it. It has a capacity up to 8 cards, which is really pretty good. And then, of course, if you have a card here in the front, that gets you 9. And they have a separate product called the Duallet Mini. And we'll mention that a little bit. It measures 3.9 by 2.5 by 0.4. And it weighs 4 ounces or 114 grams. 114 grams. Yeah, it's kind of heavy, but it is metal. Later, we're going to take the Raptor and the Groove wallet apart. So not just the Raptor, this will be good for a quick look at their internal mechanisms. How do these things actually work? Company recommends up to 8 cards plus 1 in front with a separate attachment called the Duallet Mini, which can hold another 7 plus an air tag. It's right here, you can see the picture. From a quality perspective, this is designed and made in Vietnam. It's made from a 7075 T6 aircraft grade aluminum. Now it says it's a unibody design, but clearly it's not, as we have multiple pieces attaching via these screws right here. And so maybe they just don't quite understand what that is. Now it has this eagle wing inspired design on the front. It corresponds with the Raptor name. And under the slider, we see this recessed space right here. I called that out prior. That's for card or, of course, being able to get cash in here. As of this recording, it is priced for $99. Let's look at the prior versions first, then we'll move into usability, and then we'll take them apart. We have 3 versions right here. This is the evolution of this design. And obviously one, nice X marks the spot. Then they got into really what their design is looking like, and they fine-tuned some of the mechanism. That's really what this is, I think, all been about, is fine-tuning the mechanism. I did take this one apart, and it has the same mechanism as the one that is the 4th gen. This is the 4th generation, and their shipping model right here. But now into usability. It can be a bit of a fidget toy. Let's move these out of the way. And just like with any other similar wallets like this, let's take this out. You can sit here and do this all day long. You can sit in your pocket. It's just, one of those things, just like on the ones that push up, a bit of a fidget toy. The company mentions it has total anti-drop card security, whether the wallet is in use, meaning cards are out or not. And they demonstrate this in kind of an ejected state. So we'll come down and do this right here. The point is when this comes back up, then we start losing cards. And so I'm not thinking it really holds true because it just doesn't work that way. And if you hold this in place, like, you come down and you hold it, then it begins to hold onto the cards, but it naturally goes back up into position. So that really just doesn't quite work well. Now, of course, when it's right here we have 2 little arms that come up over the cards. You can see how those kind of push out, and that is part of the mechanism. That's why they're able to pull the cards out, mix with them. Once you push it back in, it flips over the top. And that's why with it in, cards in there, they're not coming out. They are securely put in the wallet. The one thing I didn't quite like is getting the cards to go in initially. So you have to set this in properly and kind of finagle your way on both sides, pushing out these little knobs. And it's not as smooth as other wallets, I would say, like the Groove, for example, but you get used to this over time. As I've been alluding to, the closest comparison is the Groove wallet, which, you know what, I have one right here. So let's take this, open it up, and let's get the Groove wallet out, and we can get a feel for how this functions. So the Groove wallet is a push up, and you see the mechanism, and it retracts back. This is a pull down, and it actually then retracts back. Let's get some cards in here. All right, have some cards. We'll notice that the arm that holds cards in is only on one side, not on both sides. Goes in, comes up, and the cards here actually stay. So when it's in use, we'll see that the cards do not come out, which we find that problem here if it's open and it retracts. There they go. This retracts. We'll do that. Push up, retracts, and the cards stay. So a little bit of a winner there. We're not really truly doing a massive comparison, but it is interesting based on something we've seen before about how this new design works. So now let's take both of them apart and see how each accomplishes its job. One thing I want to point out before we get started is that the Groove wallet has its screws on the side. Thus it keeps a very nice aesthetic on the outside, and it becomes functionally easier to use, and we'll see how it comes apart. Whereas if we're looking at the Raptor, it has 4 screws on the back. The front looks really nice, as well as the sides are maintained that way. So let's start with the Groove. We'll set this aside, and through the magic of video, we'll take these screws out quickly. All right, we have this open. Now let's actually take this apart, and it's done by pulling this top off. And we can see what we got here. Fascinating. So we have some pieces in here that I believe help in sealing this, as well as here. And here is the lever mechanism. The lever mechanism is right here. And as this comes up, there is a magnet right here at the bottom, and it pulls it back. So it's pulled up. Whoops. Well, I have to retrieve that later. And as it pulls up, this magnet down here, it has a spring in it, and it pulls it back and holds it in place. Now, if we look at the top version, this is the slider right here. So this is what then hooks onto the bottom. It's what pulls it up. Right here is what connects it to. And it connects this little newbie or knob right there into this slot right here, and that's what then pulls it up, and when it goes down, it pulls it down. Very clever, very simple, and I kind of like this. So we'll set this right up here. Now again, through the magic of video, we will remove the screws from the Raptor. All right, here we are. So let us crack the top here a little bit. Okay, here we go. And we can see that here's where we have the MagSafe component. And we have these are the trigger points. Right here is what pushes and maintains these top pieces right here. We're going to crack this top now. Let's pull this off. Oh, the pieces are coming out, which is okay. There we go. Okay, so I think we lost a couple pieces on the back, which is fine. And now, let's set these aside so we can get a better view of what this is. If we flip this over, we can see right here that this is where we have the slide mechanism. And the slide pieces move up, and they affect what we see right in here. So, don't want to upset those little pieces. These little pieces will come out. So we can see right here that we have some guidance strips. These are rubber, and so this helps prevent cards from flinging out. All box wallets really have something similar to that. And right here we can see that this is rubber, and this is where these little slots right here go down into. So when you pull down, it pushes down, and then what we have is this fascinating component right here where there are look like two arms. These arms go up, at which point then it pushes the cards out, and then through the magnetic and springs that are here, it just pulls it back down. Wink, wink. and it then pulls this top down with it. Very interesting in how this comes together. I appreciate Tony providing us with the evolution of their Raptor product design ahead of their launch, and I always find it fascinating to see how the mechanism designs actually work. Now on to the final score. For quality of 4, price at 3, features of 4. I like the fact we have MagSafe there. Usability of 2, a little sketchy, trying to keep cards in. It's not quite perfect yet, and perception of 3. That gives us a score of 3.2 out of 5. If you like this video, then watch this one next, and we'll see you in the next review.